wonderful program for you today. Make sure you sit back, relax, and join with us 1 hour of good programming. We want to ask you to tell a friend, tell a neighbor that we're on. I want to take this opportunity to let you know that we're back on live, and one of the things is that we're also airing in Brooklyn, New York, at the Brick facilities in Brooklyn, New York. So we want you all to tune in. Later on today, I'm going to be sending out the information for the Brick, so that you can tune in live online at the Brick for Hartford Community Leaders, Brooklyn, New York. All right. So that's a new initiative. It's great to be back with you all. We have a great program for you today. Today we have both authors. I call them the CIA talent, Mr. Louis Antonio Malave and Leroy Ferrer. They're authors and book writers, and I tell you, they're here with some new material for the public, and you need to get your books. We're going to be talking about their new upcoming projects. And also we have a chef here, Chef Stella Brown. All right, and she's from the Hartford, Connecticut area and has a restaurant, and so we're going to be talking about some good cooking, some good food, and we want you to support her in her new restaurant here in the city of Hartford. And tell a friend, tell a neighbor that we're on live. All right. If you have a question on today, you make sure you type in your question for our guests, and they'll be able to answer your question. We're monitoring right here. Also, I want to take this opportunity to thank our staff here, Sister Trish Nelson, Mr. Amando, and Brother Mike, who does the cable casting here. Thank them. They so graciously come in and host this show along with myself and our co-host, Lakia Leitner, so graciously every single week, and we want to thank them for doing that. We got some great topics for you today. One of the things that we want to talk about today is, right before we get into our guests, we want to make sure that we as a community come together and talk about some of the issues that we have in our community. We have to come together, talk about our issues, and then also plan for events that happen within our communities. I think it's a great opportunity for us to plan. We see that there's a lot of things happening with shootings, with our young people. Let's try to come together and plan events for our young people, plan events for our youth, to get them, out of the streets and into something that is positive. Planning for their education, planning, not just giving them a hamburger or a hot dog, but also sitting down and talking with them, to see what they're experiencing, when you're not there with them. Parents need to come together, community need to come together, churches need to come together, businesses need to come together. Let's sit down and come to a solution to some of these problems that we've been facing. I think we can have a better community. If you really look at, we were just in New Haven, Connecticut, and we were in a private, sort of private community within the city. And if you will look around, you see children they're playing around in the playgrounds, and they got their little private area, and they're on a separate their separate world, but within the city limits. And we were kind of shocked. We parked on their street, and we were kind of shocked. But they have their little private zones there. But what I'm saying is that we need to make sure that our communities are kept up and neat, without graffiti all over the place. It takes a community to work together to get things done in our communities. We can be just like that little private zone there, where the houses are being kept up, nice playgrounds, nice schools, in those different areas. So we can do it if we can come together. We don't have to just settle for less. We can have the best. All right. Take that note and tell a neighbor, tell a friend. We don't have to settle for less. We can settle for the best. All right.
Amen.
All right. On today, we're going to take this opportunity to welcome Chef Stella. Welcome.
Thank you.
She's a chef from Hartford, and she's born and raised in Hartford, Connecticut. Chef Stella has been cooking for friends and family for over 30 years, influenced by her Nana, effortless and flavored meals. Chef Stella has culinary influences from all over the world, with family from America's South, friends from the Caribbean living in the West Africa, and receiving culinary education in Italy. Chef Stella's culinary blended cuisines offer flavor and techniques from these regions. After years of working in corporate offices for the state of Connecticut, Chef Stella made the decision to attend culinary school in Lincoln Culinary in Hartford. After achieving perfect grades, she was invited to join the school's Italian program, where she learned new flavors and techniques in Italy. After returning from Italy, Chef Stella opened what is now Stella's and Maisie's, an eatery company right here in the capital city that serves a different menu daily with a fusion of West African, Caribbean, and African American cuisine. Wow. Nice. Welcome, Chef.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good to be here.
Tell us a little bit about yourself. I know we talked about your bio here, but we want to hear from you. How did you get started? And tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started cooking.
Well, I was born and raised in Hartford, and I spent a lot of time with my maternal grandmother, who enjoyed cooking for the family.
Okay.
And I would play as her assistant, so to speak, and she would ask me to grate carrots and grab different seasonings, whatever she needed. I would be right there to assist her. But I also kept one eye open and was secretly checking out what she was doing in the kitchen. And not only did I see her love and her passion for cooking, but you could taste it as well. So I wanted to figure out how to do that. And so early teens, I started cooking for close friends of mine, where I would host dinner parties. It just continued on, and I grew up and began working in corporate America and for the state. And after a very long time of doing that and seeking happiness, I decided to go to culinary school.
All right.
And from there, but before culinary school, I traveled to West Africa, where I came back to the Americas and sold my home and packed up and moved over to West Africa for a couple of years. So I learned some of their culinary flavors and passions for cooking while I was there as well. And going to culinary school and visiting Italy and living in Italy brought all of those flavors, those world flavors together. And so that's what I'm trying to share with Hartford right now.
All right. And what type of cooking is it that you do?
I like to call it Afrofusion, because it is African based, but because we have influences in the diaspora, we have Afro-Caribbean, we have African American and Southern cuisine. We have the influx of West Africans and their flavors as well, and then putting a touch of Italy into that does something extra. So it's a lot of fun.
And where's your restaurant located right now?
The restaurant Stella's and Maisie's is located at 461 Capitol Avenue in Hartford. We're open for lunch on Tuesday and Wednesday from 11 to 2, and then Thursday and Friday we're open from 11 to 6 p.m. Saturdays we're open 11 to 3. And our menu, like you said, is different daily. So what you get on Tuesday, you won't get on Thursday, you won't get the same menu. We've been open for 2 years, I don't think we've had the same daily menu yet, so.
Awesome.
That's
And
good.
what are some of the dishes that you provide for the customers? And I know we got a lot of customers out there that's hungry right now, especially me. What kind of dishes? And when you talk about the African dishes, the Caribbean dishes.
Well, what we'd like to do is offer something from each region daily. Something West African, something Afro-Caribbean, and something African American. We also offer a red meat option daily, a poultry option daily, and a vegan option daily. On Fridays and Saturdays, we exchange the red meat option for seafood, fish or seafood. So an example, we have a what's called domada in the Senegal-Gambia region, and it's a peanut butter stew. It has a tomato base, but it's spicy and it's very nice, and we can do that with red meat, chicken, or vegan.
Wow.
We also do a lot of jerk. Our customers and guests enjoy our jerk, so we may do jerk chicken. We do jerk shrimp. We also have recently began, prior we would do a jerk cauliflower, but recently we've gotten into jerking mushrooms.
Wow.
Portobello mushrooms, and they are amazing, if I say so myself. And then we also, a southern item, we would, or African American item, we would do chicken and waffles. Or Afro-Caribbean, we may do like a black bean and mango salsa, which is served warm. So we have a lot of fun, and we shop daily, so we go to the markets first thing in the morning, and everything's fresh. And we also have to, once we gather the ingredients, decide what we're cooking. So it's not planned. It's you kind of just wake up, and try and figure out.
I already want to go to the restaurant.
And so we have different individuals with different types of diets. Now, what type of meals are, the healthy type choice meals? Do you have any of those?
Well, everything that we prepare is healthy. Nothing, we don't fry anything. If we fry, we oven fry. But we mainly stew and broil and saute. We don't, like I said, we offer a vegan option, but also all of our soups and sides are vegan as well, because we want everyone to be able to eat with us and enjoy our food. So. And just because it's vegan doesn't mean it isn't tasty. So, and people are finding that out because they come in and they may order a red meat option if they have curried lamb or something to that effect, and then they have collard greens and jasmine rice. Well, then they say, oh, the greens were amazing, and we say, well, it's vegan. And they say, I usually don't eat vegan food. And I think we're dispelling a lot of myths about what a vegan diet can contain and the flavors.
And how important is that? How important is vegetables? Like you said, in your diet, how important is
vegetables are extremely important. It's natural, it's plant-based, it's from the earth, and it was put here for our consumption, so we should be consuming it. And I understand that a lot of people have allergies to, some have raw veggie and fruit allergies, some have cooked veggie and fruit allergies, but for the most part, we prepare it in a way that you will enjoy it. So come on over.
All right.
Amen.
Yeah. And how, what made you decide that you wanted to, set up a restaurant right here in the Hartford area? What influenced you to set up that restaurant?
Pretty much my Nana and the ability to want to feed people. Traveling around the world, there are many people, not just in other parts of the world, but even here in Hartford, who are hungry. So the love of cooking makes you want to share your food and your meals with those people who will enjoy them most and who need them most. So that was a big part of it, wanting to share my food with others. But also, within the next 18 to 24 months, we'd like to begin an initiative to feed Hartford. And in that doesn't necessarily mean to give food. It means to teach how to prepare foods in an inexpensive and flavorful manner.
Right.
One example of that is my business partner, Chef Maisie, would like to teach single parents how to purchase foods at a low cost, but to prepare them in a way where they would be a 5-star meal to the mother and the children. A lot of people can't afford a personal chef, so we want to teach people to be their own personal chefs. Another way would be to mentor children who have a passion or a desire to become chefs or cooks, and to take them under our wing to show them that that's possible, and then they can prepare foods for their families, meals for their families. So
I have a question. Is the restaurant a walk-in kind of restaurant that you sit and order, or drive-through?
We have a small space, so that's mainly why we're open for lunch most days. But we do have eat-in. We have a small area for eat-in, and we have about 16 to 20. We can seat 16 to 20 inside, and an equal amount outside on our patio.
Nice.
But we do mainly take out.
Take out.
Yeah.
If I were to go there and let's say I want a house special, what would I get?
There is no house special because we have a different menu each day. So the menu is small. So you have 3 entrees to choose from, and each of those entrees usually comes with 2 sides, cornbread, and you could buy a drink and a dessert. Our desserts and our cornbreads are also vegan. So our cornbreads, one of the cool things is that Chef Maisie, we kind of nicknamed her the cornbread queen. She makes a cornbread to complement the entrees daily. So you can get a sweet and spicy cornbread, you can get a traditional cornbread, you can get jalapeno. Depending on what she makes for the day, and that's also vegan, if I didn't say.
Awesome.
So yeah.
That's very awesome.
All right. And so we want to thank Brian Lewis for watching, J Falk, Tony Daniels, Francis Hardy, my niece out of Massachusetts. Thank you for tuning in. And Tony Daniels, he writes a comment. So you are right. Most of them never have a father and don't know how to be a real dad, although many try to do their best. And so what you were saying about the cooking and teaching the youth about cooking is so very important. And so Jay Falk, who is a famous photographer out there, he said he likes the cornbread.
Yeah.
Now we need to. Now, what type of cornbread does one of your chefs make?
It varies. She does a sweet and spicy. If we're having something, if we have the black bean and mango salsa, which contains jalapenos, she may do the sweet and spicy cornbread. She also does a brown sugar cornbread. She does a traditional cornbread. There's so many. But they complement, and everyone loves it.
And so J Falk says, I love that cornbread. so speaking of, he said, oh boy, that sweet and spicy cornbread. Wow. All right, so now we gotta let J Falk and the rest of our viewers know where you're located in Hartford, so that they can come and support your restaurant.
We're at 461 Capitol Avenue.
Uh-huh.
It's Stella's and Maisie's,
Uh-huh.
and we're between Putnam Street and Columbia Street.
Okay. And now, do you do any special dishes that you can ship? Not right now, right? Because we have guests from all over the United States that watch the program, and they might want to have the dish shipped, frozen and
We've
shipped.
gotten requests from Atlanta
Uh-huh.
and Mobile, Alabama.
Uh-huh.
They want my oxtails.
Oh, wow.
Unfortunately, we haven't found a way to ship them yet,
Uh-huh.
but we are working on it.
Okay. All right. Let's see. Yeah.
Are we going to see you on your own cooking show on the network?
Perhaps.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
All right. And for those that just started, that just joined us, thank you for tuning in to Harvard Community Leaders. We have Chef Stella Brown here, and she's a famous chef with us. Has a restaurant here in our city, and I'm gonna just ask Chef, would you state where the name of your business and where it's located and the types of food again? We just had a few people just join.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I'm co-owner of Stella's and Maisie's
Mhm.
at 461 Capitol Avenue in Hartford, and we prepare Afrofusion cuisine, which is West African from the Senegal Gambia region, as well as Afro-Caribbean and African American.
Okay. All right. Yeah. We have some churches with, I think, Tola Delaney, Pastor Tola Delaney from Hartford. Thank you for tuning in. And hey, if you have a church, do you do catering?
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Yes, we do.
And so all the dishes we talked about, you can formulate them up in
Of course
for
we
catering.
do. Our website is eatsomethinggood.com.
Uh-huh.
You can choose the menu option, and we have a catering menu there.
Okay.
And the catering menu contains African American, Afro-Caribbean, and West African dishes.
Mhm.
Also, if you go to the Stella's and Maisie's Facebook page, you'll be able to see the daily menus. That's where we post them, as well as on our website.
Mhm.
And you can see the different things we offer. Not everything that we prepare is on the catering menu, but you can certainly ask that we cater it, and it may be possible.
Okay. Well, we definitely appreciate you coming.
Thank you for
And I
having
tell
me.
you, we look forward to working with you
Yeah.
and in your restaurant and your business. We're praying that you have much success, and we want Hartford to go out and support this restaurant. And you can let us know again the address.
Stella's and Maisie's is located at 461 Capitol Avenue in Hartford.
All right. And so you want to make your way to Capitol Avenue and make sure you get that good meal. And J. Falk, hey, she's going to be looking for you. Yeah. She's going to make that special cornbread for you. All right?
He's
All
going to
right?
be posting again.
Spicy.
He keeps posting.
Yeah, so yeah. He said he can't wait. All right, so yeah. Hey, if you're in Brooklyn, New York, and you tuned in, make sure you support. Come to Hartford. We got things going on here in Hartford. Not only in
Hartford
Brooklyn,
has
New
it.
York. Hartford has it also. So when you in Hartford, you want to stop by.
Stella's and Maisie's at 461 Capitol Avenue
All right.
between Putnam and Columbia Street.
All right. All right. And Jay Fogg, he just sent this message. He said, awesome. I definitely want to come and support and come and get some of that cornbread oxtails. My stomach is touching me now. Yeah. Including my back here right now. I'm definitely want some food from Master Chef Stella. All right. All right. So that's great. And I know Tony Daniels, you got the oxtails, man. So you better come on out and get them. Capitol Avenue is the place to be. All right, Chef Stella Brown. All right, you want to be there.
Thank you.
All right, Hartford. Our next guest, Brooklyn, New York, Hartford. Brooklyn, New York, Hartford. Our next guest is Mr. Louis A. Malavi, our famous book writer and author. And I tell you, Chef, again, he's 33 years old. lives in Hartford. He resides with family and friends. Louis and Leroy Ferrer, which is our next guest, is 28, and they are activists to the LGBTQ community, in which his heart labors for. Being active with the community, Louis Malave have also raised awareness on important topics in our community, HIV and homelessness, all over the Hartford and Springfield, Massachusetts. He has collaborated with nonprofit agencies such as True Colors and Projects Step LCS. And welcome to Hartford Community Leaders once again, Mr. Louis Malave.
Thank you for the welcome.
Leroy Ferrer, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, for coming in. Hey man, what's going on? New projects? You doing something great in our community, man.
Thank you, Don.
And raising awareness, and it's definitely necessary. You know, last time you were here, we talked about different topics,
Nonviolence and all that stuff.
Yeah,
Remember,
yeah.
we were supposed to make that more visible to people,
Right.
What's going on in our world with this violence, you know.
Right.
And I was working a lot with the nonviolence, but ever since Donald Trump hammered us down, it's kind of hard to bring that back.
That's right.
But
Yeah.
I'm still trying. I'm
Okay.
still working
Great.
on those important topics. My All Life Matters book, it's based on that, also based on homelessness,
Okay.
the LGBT community,
Uh-huh.
you know, and nonviolence, and all these things that is really happening in our life is the important topics that we should be talking about,
Right.
and bringing it into our communities, and not just find solutions. We need to find understandings of how these solutions are going to fit in with every person. Not everyone is the same.
Right.
So when I write and I decide to write, I write for a big audience. I don't write just for the LGBT community,
Right.
or for the straight audience, or whatever the case is. I write for a bigger audience, so everybody knows that we are all the same, and we are gonna endure same things, because it's life.
That's right. That's right.
It's life, you know, and then without the understanding of these things that we are learning from, there won't be life.
Right.
That's right.
So,
You know, and we talked about the homelessness last time. Homelessness. We have enough funds in our communities where people are spending frivolously, on whatever they spend it on. We know what they spend on daily numbers, whatever this and that. We have churches. A way to get the community together to say, hey, we can house some of these homeless people that's in our community, and be able to house them, and be able to, and work with businesses like Chef Stella to, give in food and, to the homeless people, and actually fund her business, to do that, and she can get better rates and things like that for our community. How important is that?
it's very important, and thank God that this is the first thing you brought out as a subject. I was speaking with Leroy yesterday, and we were talking about a chapter, Day One. And Day One consists of homelessness. When we first met years ago, we met like fun, school, let's play around, let's be friends. None of this great curriculum stuff.
Right.
We were just kids. We were not grown up yet. After time that we got back to each other, we got back because of homelessness. Not because we were in school getting educated and having fun. Now, after years went past by, we connected. He said, oh my God, you're an author, you're doing great. I want to be an author. I have a purpose.
Right.
We started talking about Day One. That was a chapter that he said he wanted to put a lot of information on it, and which is called affordable housing.
Okay.
Day One, affordable housing in United States. I would say United States, and maybe around the country. People are so struggling with paying $500, $600, $700 of rent because of their income.
Right.
Okay, they don't have the funds to take care of them and their household needs. So what they're doing, they buying tents, and they're going to city tents where they're allowed to put tents and live on that type of premises because they cannot afford housing.
I agree with that.
You see what I'm saying?
Right.
And we cannot, like he said to me, and I'm gonna give him an opportunity to tell
Yeah.
you guys what he told me yesterday when it came to the freedom of United States that they gave us. We should not be homeless at all.
That's right. That's right.
Or hungry.
Uh-huh.
You see, and it's amazing that someone that is feeding and someone that is caring to the homelessness,
Right.
working together, people would not even see that impact.
Right.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? So I'm going to give it back to you, Leroy, so you can give them a little bit of that information that you're already writing on that day one chapter.
All right, we have author Leroy Ferrer, right?
Yes.
And tell us a little bit about yourself.
Just
Welcome to Harvard Community Leaders.
Hi.
And you just jumped right in. All right, man.
my name is Leroy. 28 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Currently a resident of Hartford. Been here since about 2013. And just touching in real quick on what Lewis was saying. We was having a conversation yesterday, and it upset me. And I said, how can we be the most powerful country on the planet, and yet we have the most homeless people on the streets? How can we call ourselves the land of the free and the brave, and we have the most people incarcerated on the planet? That type of, those numbers don't add up. And then the average person either doesn't know, doesn't have that information, or just is either
It's
too
content.
strung out or too on either drugs or on life, their bills, this, that, and the third, to really care that, you know what I'm saying, what they live in. Is if you don't start talking and at least start, putting out those type of subjects, and we aren't going nowhere.
Well, that's one of the reasons why we started Harvard Community Leaders, to raise awareness to homelessness, and violence in our cities, so that people that are watching or listening, or in the community events, meetings, can understand what it means. Because if you've never been homeless, you can't understand what it's like to be homeless. You know what I'm saying? We need people that have experienced those things to come in to say, hey, these are the things that we've experienced. These are the things that we need to work toward to try to fix in our communities. Yeah, so those are the things that we want to try to do, to talk about, solutions. Not just talk, but just work towards solutions. It can be done.
There are solutions. This is the problem that we're dealing with, and there are solutions to everything. Like we just discussed, this is America of the free, the land of the brave. We don't need to find no solutions when there are already solutions. What we have to do is make sure that we get connected with the right people that are not biased, that are willing to give us the support that we need so we can move forward.
So that all people have access to those
Yes,
solutions.
we need linkage, we need access to all these things, but when we have like a president that is so racist, that is not allowing this information to be spread, because like what happened the other day I think it was in New Britain, or I think it was in here in Hartford. They put 30 people in jail because they were protesting. So, yesterday, see? So, therefore, I'm not protesting, but I'm sending out a message.
Right.
Because I don't want to get arrested. So, there are solutions to everything. We just have to find the right way and the right connection to spread that love. Because I call it love. Because when you sit there and you show love through love, you're gonna get it back automatically. God don't like no ugly. And He loves love. And He said if you share it, you will be praised with much more.
All right, Louis, we want to talk about your book.
Yes.
We have Jay Falk, who's already commented, and we haven't even talked about the book yet. Because Louis, he said, I read the back of Louis' book, ALM, Elm this morning.
Yes.
He posted recently. I paused the video and read the back and the Elm book this morning. I did read that he grew up in Hartford, and he speaks about what he had to endure, including racism.
Yes.
I did read some of the back of the book this morning. So, enlighten us about your...
I will talk about, hi Jay, how are you? It says the handsome baby saved by Hartford's new community civil rights activist and author Antonio Luis Malave has written one of the most courageous and shockingly honest memoir ever. His heartfelt candor makes this novel like no other. The blockbuster tell it all about his life, career, and more about his shocking revelations of being a victim of abuse, violence, racism, or also sexual abuse. Malave takes the readers behind the scenes of some of the biggest topics in our time, in which we already talk about homelessness. We're going to talk about sexual abuse. Sexual abuse, it's a very strong topic because right now Mr. Donald can be accused of sexual assault without even him committing the crime. I believe that sexual assault now has taken barriers to just a money value. Okay? Now we're living in a world that I could say anything and you can get arrested, even though you probably didn't sexual harass. Us that really did face the sexual abuse in real life, we never got the resources that we really needed. We never got it. Now we won't even get it to that level because sexual abuse is a money matter.
Right.
Well, I think there's a difference between abuse and harassment.
Mhm.
So, and I think that's where the fine line is
Mhm.
that you're talking about.
Yes, and that fine line, it's being used for their own benefits. And that benefits, what is he doing? Is destroying lives, is destroying everything. It's even not allowing you to get opportunity. Let's say that Luis Malave was an RSO, or a registered sex offender, and he had to endure 10 years of probation or whatever the case is. He clears all his life, he's done with everything, but there's nothing else for him because he has a label. What are we going to do with these RSO that are coming home soon? Where are we going to put them? What are we going to do with them?
Right.
If we're giving them a label, but then we're not giving them a chance to rehabilitate or re-chances, what are we doing? We're only thinking about the money value. We're not thinking about the person. We're not thinking about his rehab. We're not thinking about how he's going to move forward.
Pay his rent.
Now, when it comes to that, also something that is also being done wrong, and let's say that I had a crime like that, and I decided to write a book. Guess what? Bias again. My books at this moment, they're not allowed into the correctional facilities. You see? So now you're cutting up my money. How am I supposed to survive? When I'm trying to show these young adults some wisdom of what I had to endure, how I did my 360, if you're not allowing me to make a chump change.
That's right.
So you're gonna alienate me, destroy me, don't give me a chance. What am I supposed to do?
And so you have one book here, and then
Yes,
you have
the All Life Matters is based on all that. And then I have the first one that I came to you the first time, Two Sides of Game, which is very explicit, very explicit. It tells everything about what I had endured in Hartford, Connecticut. Everything that I'm talking about on this civil rights movement, it's right here. The incarceration, everything in detail. The imprisonment of 10 years, and so. That's how CIA came along.
Right.
Crowning Intelligent Artists was born in 2014 because of that matter. It's because of a voice. Now, we go and we see all these publishing companies out there offering you services, but you have to pay for the services. Let's say I want to publish this book independently. I could do it, but I have to give a percentage to whatever company is selling it for me. If I have a publishing company asking me for $1,000, $2,000 for me to publish under their name, they're also getting royalties plus the upfront, and that doesn't tell me that I'm going to get somewhere. You see what I'm saying? I decided to take it on my own, publish it on my own, move forward with it on my own, give it for free, because I've been giving it for free so people can hear me out and can understand that what I'm saying is true. It's not something that I am imaginatory, have in my head, or it's just a story. You see what I'm saying? All CIA is, it's knowledge and wisdom from young adults,
Right.
from all type of race and gender that doesn't have no income to afford being a published author. They come to me,
Right.
I do all their work for them, I put them on the spotlight, I introduce them to the world, and they go on their own.
Wow.
Nice.
It's just a free service
Very nice.
that enhances them to become who they are.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I'm not getting money from it. You see how I'm not getting money from any type of way? Because I believe that good will never come undone.
And so, Ferrer, Mr. Ferrer, how did you get involved with the writing and
Tell 'em our
authorship?
story.
Just a quick.
Go back to homelessness.
You gotta rewind this
Okay.
for my part. You gotta rewind this back to childhood. But I'm not gonna do it. I'll do a quick rule. I grew up in a, how would you say, dysfunctional. Grew up in a dysfunctional household where all of those were either using drugs, selling drugs, or a combination of the both. So we go from there. That led me from the household into the street. Go to the street. Now that led me into selling drugs, being in a gang. That led me to jail. In jail, I got the first initial spark that said something told me there's got to be something more than this.
Yeah.
This is not for me. All that led me to here. This is not for me. This is not the right door. I took the wrong road. There's got to be something else. So that was the first initial spark. I come home. Years later, I'm doing the regular 9 to 5 stuff here. Everybody does. One day, coming out of a club, I get into what could have been a fatal car accident. I wake up in Hartford Hospital, breathing machines. I don't even know how I got here into this room. But I overcome that, and I'm sitting here in front of you. I didn't need no wheelchair, no
Amen.
nothing to get in here. I'm talking
Amen.
about myself. So that led me to see that there's a purpose for my life.
Right.
There has to be a purpose for my life. Like, I've seen people get in car accidents die. I've seen people fly out windows. I've seen people paralyzed afterwards. For me to have such a speedy recovery and to be sitting here the way I am, it has to be purpose. Not only that, in the hospital, it led me to see that in this gumbo of a world that we live in with the violence and the racism and this and that, there's still genuinely good people.
Yes.
From the accident to the people that stopped at the scene and called the ambulance and were genuinely concerned. They didn't have to do that. They could have kept it moving, been nosy for an accident. To the nurses in the hospital that went, what I would say, beyond their job to make sure that I was comfortable and whatnot.
Amen.
That opened my eyes to, like, there's still genuine good people around.
Right.
So now, fast forward a little more, I rerun back into him and find out for the first time that he's an author. He writes books. Well, let me see. You write books? Okay. And we, get to talking, a couple talks, and then it gets to a point where he was in a situation, and I said, you know what? I got a back room in my house.
Homelessness. I was still living on City 10 until 2 months ago. He called me. He said, I can't see you doing that. He said, you're too smart. You're too brilliant. You have a brilliant mind. And why would they leave you to, for dead? So he called me and he said, brother, I won't do that to you. Come in and we'll work this out together and we'll figure it out. And now look at him. 3 months later, he's writing his novel and I'm about to publish it on December of this year.
Wow.
Where does that come from? And I'm very proud of him for even taking the initiative to even said, okay, literature is my calling. Literature is my purpose. That made me excited because I said, okay, well, I guess God blessed me with someone good. God said someone has the talent, put them out there.
That's right.
And there's where we are, HCL.
And so we have our viewers out there. They're saying great show, and understanding is the key. And he said, where can we get these books?
Yes.
And he said, congratulations.
Thank you.
And Congratulations.
Yes, you could get Leroy Ferrer's new book. It's called The Year of the Messiah. It will be released on December. No date yet because I'm still debating on that. The Year of Messiah is based on his old past and all we just talked about in this program. Also, the book that is also going to come out from me is called The Resurrection of T-Sog. The Resurrection of T-Sog will also come out on December, the same time we're both coming up. You can find all our books, T-Sog, All Life Matters, on Amazon.com. You can find them there. You can find them on Lulu. You can find them Book Baby. You can find them every book outlet out there in Barnes & Nobles. Everywhere you want to find them, they're out there. You can also contact us on Facebook, on official page of SIA, or you can contact us on Twitter, Instagram, all of it, official page of SIA. And we're so blessed and so thankful to be here with you,
Yes,
Don,
yes.
and it's a blessing to even God allowing me to bring more authors into the table. You know, this is amazing, and thank you. And I hope you guys keep following us, and hope that this good books gets in through your brain and ask for more.
All right.
All right.
All right. Well, we're gonna have final words from Mr. Ferrer.
Yeah, just December it comes out. We don't have an exact date yet, but go get the book. The main thing that I want to put out there with this book is that it doesn't have to be a certain lane. You know, you could get to a road. The average man gets to a road, and you're gonna either have to make a left or a right. And that's what this book is basically, you know.
Choices.
I hope you get with that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you're gonna have to make a left or a right, and whichever one you make is gonna lead you. You gotta go to where that road is.
And we're also working, and that I want to tell the viewers, is that we're also working on a movie.
I was about to ask you.
Yes.
All right.
We're working on the
That's
movie.
2 minutes left.
2 minutes. Okay, 2 minutes. We're working on T-Sog movie. T-Sog movie will be coming out soon. I'm the only producer on it because I also do movies. So I will be producing this movie. It's phenomenal. It's based on both books together in one movie. It's going to be an hour and 45 minutes, but it's going to be awesome.
All right.
All right. And yes, just Stella, can you tell us where your restaurant is?
And yes, Stella's and Maisie's is located at 461 Capitol Avenue between Putnam and Columbia Streets in Hartford. EatSomethingGood.com.
All right.
All right.
All right. Thank you all for tuning in. See you next week, same time, same channel. God bless.
Bye-bye.
God bless.
Brooklyn, New York. See ya.